Welcome everybody to the Baltimore Association of Black Journalists. We're going to start doing like these little mini sessions every month where you're either learning something or just decompressing. This time we're going to learn something. We have Brian H. Waters here. He has used the app StreamYard multiple times every week, and his product looks like broadcast ready. So I was like, okay, well, maybe he can show us how to do these tricks. So I'm going to just pretty much punt it right over to Brian and talk to us about what is StreamYard and how should we be using it?
All right, so StreamYard, what it does is allows you to go live streaming with your friends on multiple platforms. So if you want to stream on Facebook and YouTube at the same time, or Facebook and Periscope, you can do that. I know we did a back in, it was sometime during the summer, all the months starting to run by. We did OBS and I forgot the Ecamm Live as far as live streaming.
Yes.
Well, I was talking to Nikki and we was talking about things. I said, well, I've been using StreamYard now, and quite frankly, I think this is the easiest one, and you'll see why today. So why you want to use StreamYard, like I just mentioned, you can run multiple broadcasts, which you'll see right here. I took a couple of screenshots so you can see, like, if I was about to do a show, I would do Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope all at once. Now, you could do more than 3 if you pay for like the highest tiers. There's 3 tiers. I'll get into the cost later. But you can also have brands. So right here, you'll see different brands where I have a show called Wrestling for the Culture, Break It Down with Brian H., my church, CMC, Break It Through Glass Ceilings, A&B Sports, and Millennial Media Mavens. That way, if you want to have a different logo, you can separate things, which I'll show you when we get inside. So you can do logos, overlays, and backgrounds. And here's the difference. If you see on the logos, it's the brand identifier in the right corner. You'll see my pastor right there, and then you'll see our church logo. You can keep that on the entire time, or you could take it off, or you can kind of click through it if you want. Some people like to bug the whole video. Some people don't. An overlay is a picture that will run full screen. So I took an episode I did with the Black Wrestling Podcast, and right there is the copy of, they do a top 50 black wrestlers. So right there, you'll see the overlay of the picture. Now, generally, I'm one who likes the picture to cover the whole screen. I don't really like just having that. Now, I did learn later that I could have clicked everybody off and just had that on the screen, but still allowing the audio to be there. But that's the difference. So when you get inside, you'll see overlay, logo, and background is just simply right here. I created a background in Photoshop where I measured what for our Millennial Media Mavens basketball preview show. I basically took a screenshot of what it was like with 5 people on the screen, and I made the background to kind of fit that. So that's the reason why but the background is essentially when everybody's on the screen at once, what the background look like. So, if you put zoom in, I believe it's gallery mode, you'll see just all of us, but you'll have that black background. They allow you to have a cool background to give a nice broadcast feel. So then right here, videos, you can put videos in, let me see, I think, is this playing? Oh, it didn't. I thought I put the YouTube link in. Sorry about that. Oh, okay, there we go. So I wanted to show y'all where, so that's the intro that's built in the screen. I also think I can't remember if I did a commercial in this one. I didn't. But you can put the videos, like that's built in, that's already inserted in StreamYard. So before I go live, I run my intro video. They recommend 720 by far as this quality. All my videos are exported in 1080p, and I haven't had an issue. But just to let you know, the video is going to be up to 5 minutes or 100 megabytes. So if they were in 720, it would be a little bit smaller, and it will automatically mute you when you run the video clips. So you can unmute yourself, but as soon as you click the video, it'll automatically mute you. So it's good for when you end in, like for instance, on Sundays when we end the service, I usually give a hand signal to let everybody, let the pastor know I'm getting ready to close. He'll stand there silently, and then once I hit the end button, that allows me to kind of unhook the microphone while the end is running. Let's see. Oh yeah, so lower thirds, they do have inside where, which would be under the banners section, where they have, sorry about that. Can y'all still see my screen?
Sure can. Yeah.
Cool. So, and inside they do have lower thirds built in the system, so you don't have to build that stuff yourself. You can use the lower thirds, like right here on the bottom. I put follow us, so I type that in, it's already there. And then the color is red because you choose your brand colors. And then they also have a ticker, so you could choose if you want it to be a standard lower third or if you want it to be a rolling ticker at the bottom. Now, what I do, because I don't like, I can watch StreamYard. I can watch a broadcast and know it's been produced on StreamYard, and I personally didn't like that. So what I did is I created my own lower thirds by using PNG files and just using small PNG images. That way I could just have them look different. And then one question is, I know people have is, can you just record? Do you have to live stream? Answer is yes. You can just set up to only record your video, and they will allow you to download the MP3 only. That way, if you, like for me, use on podcasting, I could just record the show, take the audio from the show, upload it to Anchor or whatever podcast platform you use, but then take the video and upload it to YouTube.
And can you reiterate why that would be helpful, like to record it but not broadcast it?
In case errors happen, or we recording in case you do it. Well, yeah, in case errors happen, or like for instance, what my pastor does. Well, we're getting ready to go back into church, but we would record his sermon, and then I would have to go in post-production and add the songs in later. So that's where it would benefit. We did do a remote broadcast where he went to church and I was home. I recorded him, and then I just downloaded the video and added all the other stuff to it.
Okay. Yeah, I also would do with my clients is that it takes less time for it to render and download, and like all your chirons or lower thirds are already included inside of StreamYard. So you really do cut down on your exporting time, and people probably will notice that once they start uploading stuff to YouTube and Venmo and any other third-party entity, it takes forever to render a whole bunch of different graphics and stuff in your Premiere Pro and your Final Cut Pro, your Premiere and your Final Cut. This way, it's like one less layer going on there.
Yeah, our friend Renee Washington had kind of, encouraged me to use it. I was using Zoom, especially when you're recording a show with multiple people. I paid for the $15 version of Zoom, where I could, have the longer than 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And even in post-production, it would take me 2 or 3 hours because I wanted to crop out the black. And that way, when I cropped out the black, I could put the background that I wanted. And it just takes forever to render. So then when I like, all right, well, StreamYard, it's $10 more, but it's less work I had to do. So it was worth the convenience.
True. We do have a couple questions for you while you're going through this. Do you mind, or do you want to
Go ahead.
Okay. So, and eventually I'm going to start encouraging people just to kind of jump in, but I didn't want them to mess with the presentation part. So once the presentation part is done, everybody jump on in. But Kendrick did, also say, you can rebroadcast, of course. Nietzsche had a question about, can you load your own images?
Yes.
Okay, good. And Jamila wanted to know, is there a time limit to StreamYard recordings? You know, does it stop magically at 60 minutes or something?
So it's actually right here in this last slide.
Okay, go for it.
Under costs, and the time limit is 4 hours for recording or streaming if you get the basic plan. And then I'm not sure for the free plan, which the free plan, they still got the StreamYard logo. So I know some people who I know closely that still uses that version. But the paid subscription is 4 hours, and then if you go with the professional one, it's 8 hours.
The free version probably would be ideal for maybe students on a budget learning, or someone who's not so worried about branding. While you can get a very polished look, and again, we don't even work for StreamYard. We just always try to find the apps that are like easy for our members to kind of get their products out here and offer a multimedia presentation to your stories. Yeah, like real talk, if you don't have the funds, then go ahead and use the free one. And then on some basic, I don't care if it's iMovie, video editing app, throw your logo on top of it. Throw some black on top of it. Just throw something. Like we have cleaned up videos many times. So that's an easy trick right there. And that way you're not investing in a whole $25 or $49 a month product.
Yeah. I see you said, Maria says, do you need the premium in order to stream on that platform? No, you don't. But one thing I just learned about YouTube as far as streaming, something I didn't pay attention to before, if you're planning to stream and you haven't done it before, set it up a couple of days ahead of time. I went to try to stream live from the church YouTube last week or 2 weeks ago and realized I never did that. So it said you had to wait 24 hours. So, and I guess because the first time, well, I guess my accounts were kind of grandfathered in from Google Hangouts, my wrestling account and then my personal account. So, but you don't need to record. I mean, you don't need the YouTube Premium. So what other ways can you create backgrounds? What you mean by that as far as you could just upload any image in the background section? Oh, what do you mean?
I mean, we're muted, but did you need a follow up on the background question? Like, what are other ways you can create backgrounds? Canva, Photoshop. It's essentially, think about stuff like stickers, okay? Like if you put us all in gallery view right now, and you wanted a pretty sticker to go and clear out all the black, you can create that on multiple different apps, or you can do it the other way around. So the idea is either you put something on top of it or you put our videos on top of it. So it's kind of like contact paper on something. Does that make sense?
Okay, so I'm going to be doing my show on Mondays with Maria, and I'm going to be starting out live streaming on Facebook just to make it less complicated. So I want to have the background. I'm looking at everyone else's, of course, branding is everything, and how everybody has their set, almost like template backgrounds that they use that kind of coordinate with their logo. So that's what I mean by how do you create those.
Brian, do you get it?
Oh, you're just talking about just the background to go with you, to go with your show?
Yes. Like where you were showing where you had multiple speakers and you had background.
Oh, yeah. So I did that in Photoshop.
You created the overlay, or you created just a background and then put the videos on top? Which one did you do?
Oh, I created the background in Photoshop, and then when I got into StreamYard, the overlay, we just went over top of it. But the way
that's a function of StreamYard, right? Like you could say, hey, select overlay, the same way like in Zoom, you can select backdrop, a virtual backdrop or something.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, Maria, think about it this way. If you design something real pretty, like let's say you want to do heavenly clouds or something like that, then you could design that or just have that as some regular old photo. And when you go inside of this app, the StreamYard app, it offers you an opportunity. Go ahead and show how you can like swap it out.
Yeah. So now we go for the fun part where y'all can actually
Ooh.
see behind the scenes. So this it'll tell you enter in the broadcast studio. So this right here is where you would check, make sure your mic is on. So this is where you choose your camera. I use my camcorder as opposed to my webcam. And then right here, you set up your microphones and your headset. You can even do a test. They do have they require you to have a green screen. Um, I've like played around with it to see if it worked, but I don't think it does if you don't have a green screen. So you could set all that, and then when you invite a guest, there's a link at the bottom. They will go here first. Make sure you tell them to enter the studio, because a lot of times they say, "All right, I logged in," but if they don't enter the studio, you won't see them. And then you'll see you can just put your display name. I always put my Twitter handle, but usually I turn that off because I have my custom version. So let me see. I'm just trying to move this up. Yeah, here we go. So right here is down bottom. Can you see my cursor? All right. So right here is where you are if you're going to be on the stream. And now I'm a part of the stream. But then I can take a layout. Matter of fact, no, that might be confusing. I was gonna say I could invite somebody so y'all can see. But yeah, down right here is where you would click invite, and you send this person that link. Now the link changes. It's not like Zoom where you're assigned a Zoom number. The link changes every show. So just want to make sure you let people know, and then once the show is over, it's over, but it does change every show. And then you have your so the comments right here. This is where when people are engaging on Facebook and Twitter or Periscope or YouTube, and they type a comment, they'll go right here, and you will also see which platform it came from. So it's very good if you want to speak, just answer the questions, but you can also take the comment and put it on the screen if you choose to. So it's really good if you have a moderator. Like for me, it's easy. Like on Sundays when the pastor's preaching, I've been trying it where some of the members will say something and then I will go ahead and put the comment on the screen. Like my brother-in-law was singing and my mother was saying, "Sing, son." So I put it on the screen.
Oh, got shout outs at church.
But yeah, so right here, like I mentioned, so you have your folders, and this makes things so much easier. So these are the different folders I have for different shows. And then you just, scroll up and down, and then you click that. Let me move that out the way. You click show, it'll be right there. You can hide it, change it up. And then if you want to click, scroll across the bottom ticker, and then hit show again. Now it's a ticker. I know Nikki hates tickers.
Yes, I do.
But so that's one of the cool features. So that way, if you like me, you have multiple shows or stuff you work on, things don't get confusing. And then this is the brand part where, like I said, you got different things right here. I can put so both of these are with the wrestling realm, but let's say I want to go to church, there's the logo, and then you can click on and on. This is the StreamYard logo that stays on if you choose not to pay for it. That's the logo that stays on throughout your entire show.
Brian, we have a question about Patreon, by the way.
What's the question?
Okay, it's come from Jamila Bay, excuse me, hon. And she was asking, do you have any information about Patreon? Like if she was to record in StreamYard and put the audio on one platform and then make the video available for those who pay, do the Patreon thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing right here is record only. So this right here, when you go up top, you hit edit, you can go broadcast to these channels or just record only, and then you would download the download the video and then upload it to your Patreon account.
is there a way to stop the broadcast and then continue it after? Like, let's stop it for going out to your various social media accounts and then continue to record, and that part you continue to record before your Patreon people, or would she be better off, but it better served stopping the recording and then starting one up and saying, all right, the after show or the talk back?
Yeah, it would probably be better to do it that way, because
Okay.
I've seen that when you hit end broadcast, like that's it, and I haven't been able to like pick it back up. So Sunday, for instance, I did an after party where I ended service after communion, but then they were still singing. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna just go right back live. Just typed up, hey, after party going on. They still praise the God, but I had to create a new one.
Okay. And it's still broadcasted out too. Like you had all your settings already set to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then the private chat is really good when you have guests on, because this is the conversation you hold with them. So like when me, Brandon, Kelsey, Ashley, and Renee was doing an NBA show, I took something out of the rundown. I said, hey, I'm gonna go from here. We're not going to this part. We're going straight to this part. So that's good as far as communicating. But inside the brand, this is the part where I discussed the difference between, so your theme is the way it looks. So if you wanted the letters to pop out like that, as far as your lower thirds, let's go back in here. It'll look like that, or like this, or if you want it to be minimum. So that's the theme, but then you also have the different colors, so you can change the colors around. And I don't even remember what the brand color was now. I have to fix that. Well, I barely
Just a
use
heads
that.
up, for those of you guys who do have particular colors that you want or themes that you want, it does help to keep a scratch pad of sorts with your hex codes, HEX codes. And then that way you'll never be off in your color. You know exactly what shade of orange, red, whatever the heck it is you're trying to do. That looks like a lot easier.
I think one of our shades at Hopkins was EBB's 007 or something like that.
You memorize that mess?
When it's on your desk. Because like you said, keep a sticky note and it's on your desk.
I'm not
you
memorizing
look
that.
at it every day. You can't help it.
But I like the clean look for this. The producer hat on is for me right now, and it's like people are asking to go live. Everybody wants to have their own show, whether they can carry a show or not. It's a whole nother conversation. But they want to look like they're on the big old TV. And StreamYard has seemed to be the most user-friendly one. OBX is ideal for those who are a little bit more like technology inclined. Some folks might get intimidated just by you
have to build it. That's the thing. Now, truth be told, I use OBS when I want to put a lot of video stuff in, just because, well, now they just allowed you to do longer than 5 minutes, but they always didn't. So I would use OBS if I'm just recording, but if I have guests on, I use StreamYard. And these are the difference. I think you could turn this off even on the free version, this overlay. But let's take that off real quick. But this is where I put the custom lower thirds in, because I wanted things to look different. But yeah, so this is where I put the custom lower thirds. What else is in here? Oh, so communion. So like when you asked about pictures, this is if I want this to go full screen. So I'm always make sure it's 1920 by 1080. That way it covers the whole screen, as opposed to, I think I took it out. I had one that wasn't, and it was like, it would cut off. But even if you're using this, you can still talk, and this will still, cover the whole screen. So then the video clips, we had one of our members turn 100. So I put that in the broadcast, and, you could do that. This is default. So this is in there for everybody. And that's just the standard countdown. And
what if you wanted to jazz up your countdown? Like a lot of the churches really have fancy ones. Are those videos, or there's no videos, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I that was something I thought about doing, but it's the past two Sunday, the first Sunday that we went back live, they just kind of jumped right in. So this Sunday was actually got a chance to run the beginning open. So, but yeah, you can do that. Oh, I probably have to go into one of the other brands to show y'all an actual background.
And I'm dumb. Kendrick, are you trying to get into the broadcast that he's showing us right now? Or are you trying to get into like the Zoom thing?
Yeah, no, he said if I can invite somebody, that's why I put
Oh,
my
okay,
email
yeah.
in the chat.
Yeah, Brian.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, he's well versed, so yeah, he's probably a good person to test out on.
Okay.
Or can you drop that? No. If you drop that in the chat, there's like, what, 14 people in here. It wouldn't be crazy.
Yeah. Oh, I sent it to him privately,
okay, good.
But there
it is. No, you're good.
So yeah, this is the background part. It's probably actually be cool to have a couple people in just so we can see, because it does shift around.
I'm gonna do it.
All right, and I'll show you because you can set up different ways. But yeah, this is the background I created for Wrestling for the Culture. So when I do that episode, I usually leave that way when I got somebody on, that's the background. But then I also have this version also. So, okay. Oh. So now you're in. And then you can, I could mute you. I'm just muting you just for this part. Well, you could do that. And then you can do a full screen or you can do that. So if you're going to do this version, what I would recommend if you want to create a background is screenshotting this and then going into Photoshop or Canva so that you can make it where it's not matter of fact, let's go to this. I'm gonna bring you in. Give me 1 second. So reason why I put this one up. So you see how like that's kind of like uneven, Let's see. Then we bring in. So yeah, you see how that's uneven. But if I screenshot it, it would let me know where the dimensions I would play with, if that makes any sense. Hold on, I can't hear you. Muted.
Hold up. Between screens. What the hell?
What up?
We hear you. I can't figure out what screen to unmute. Okay, so can you hear me now?
Yeah, I don't. I was about to say I didn't hear echo.
Okay, it's because I'm on both screens. I tried to mute myself on your StreamYard. What I was going to say is that when you showed the 3-box, that is easy to design around. So just a warning for the more people you invite in, the more people you're trying to create a overlay for. And I like when it's an even number versus when it's a odd number, but that's me and my little type A in this. It's easier to just make a backdrop for it because right now it's busy, but if it's just two of us or maybe just you, maybe the Lakers Heat thing might work.
Right. So like for instance, I might do this, but this is the default background or you just turn it off.
True. Do the purple one, whatever that is. Wrestling round, whatever.
Yeah.
That's not so bad.
Now, you can also do...
Oh, wait a minute, Brian. You have Kiara had a question.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I wanted to know, can you resize the video windows in the stream?
I tried. I haven't figured it out. They do have a couple different... Like, you can do stuff like that. Or, you can do solo layout. But I haven't figured that part out. Yeah, so that's the only thing.
Okay.
And then you can share screen, of course. I think, which one is it?
I don't know. We got many screens out now.
All right, so they say it works best with 2 monitors. Let's see, what else I got up here? Pinwheel def, gotta wait for that. So, Chrome tab.
Wanda, when it comes to logos, though, you want to make sure they can see it. So, like, if people have a very small and dainty logo, it's okay, but you still want to make sure you can be seen. Similar to like,
So
I guess at like 824 Kobe thing you have on there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can still see that from afar.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the share screen. Like if, you know, we wanted to, you know, run a YouTube video, and then if you want to go full screen, I've seen people do it and it looks really cool. I don't do it too often. But yeah, so that's, you know, and then like I said, you could still, so like with us on here, if we run a video, let's see, it automatically silence us. And then you want to stop it in the middle, boom, you just click it. You can't pick where you want to start. So if you know, you produce it, make sure you do, can you hear me? I must be, all right, can you hear me now? I muted my StreamYard because I thought I may be having echo. But yeah, so you can't pick and choose, like, you know, you can't fast forward or rewind. So if you know it's a certain part that you want to show, I would recommend going in your editing software and clipping off where you want the video to be at. And then, like I said, so these are the lower thirds, like all these are the guests I had, and then even like that's my lower third. So what a trick I do is I make the person full screen, and then run the lower third. So generally that's a motion, that's a template I created in After Effects, but it really has motion on it, but because I made it for StreamYard, I had to make it into an image file, making it a PNG.
So it's not a motion graphic.
Right, yeah, because they wouldn't let me do, I didn't know if it would let me do a motion graphic. So I was just like, I'll just make it into a image.
Dumb question. Just a question about design and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So when you created the one in, I guess, After Effects or whatever, is it just because of the look that you did it in After Effects? Did you you weren't feeling the ones on StreamYard, or what's the deal?
I didn't want it to look like everybody else. Like, I didn't want it to be so obvious I was on StreamYard. So right, where is it? There's a section in here where it says I can show names. Okay. I forgot, where's that? Where is it? But it shows, and I can't find it, but it will allow, I think it's in here.
Is that it? Like the two up there, are those the only two lower thirds you can get?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the reason why I
So you essentially just saved everybody's really pretty lower third the way you liked it, and their images that do like a picture in a picture type of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
So yeah, that way whenever when I have a guest on, you know, I'm find out the information or go find the information and then go from there. And I can't find.
It's okay. I want to suggest for those watching this is that know your level of comfortability when it comes to playing producer. And the basic looking ones, the default and the minimal one that we just saw at the top, that might be easier to manipulate and use if you're kind of like a little uneasy about, okay, I need to be talking to these people. I need to be putting their names in. I wanted to ask, are you allowed to like have someone else come in and kind of play like switcher, but they're not on camera?
I know some people that do that where they will be, I've done it for the pastor where you never see me, but I'm doing all the back work. So they would have to, you know, have the login and everything. It's easier to do that because, you know, if you're trying to be a producer and talent at the same time, it gets difficult because you're trying to look at the screen, but then also jump and, you know, navigate through everything.
Yeah, that's what I was going to try to suggest is that people kind of lean toward maybe if you have a bigger project, try to bring in some help and see if someone else can be like your producer, your switcher, because it is very difficult to hold down the conversation, be the host, as well as be the producer at the same time. I've done it. It's not fun. And most people do not succeed well at it. You'll end up missing tidbits and facts that your guests are saying, and you'll ask them questions that they've already heard. I mean, that they already answered, excuse me. just because you're too busy trying to do the producer role of this.
Yeah, I just did a panel Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and I was kind of doing the same thing. I mean, I made it work, but it's still one of those things like, it'd be easy if you had somebody else.
Well, we had a couple questions here. Wanda was saying, this is amazing. Can you pull tight or go full screen when you have panelists and one speaks? Oh, well, we kind of demonstrated that, didn't you?
Yeah, so like right here, you know,
Right.
Nikki
talking.
speaking.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it. You can't, so yeah, you can't like move them around. So when we was doing the basketball show, I wanted to have like, Renee was like, make sure you put me near LeBron. And Ashley didn't want to be near LeBron. So I couldn't.
God.
I said, well, y'all gonna have to come out and come back in. So I haven't figured out like, okay.
Like how to swap the screens around.
Yeah, they have.
We might be asking the app to do way too much. That might be more of like an OBX type of thing. But it is fun that it can do this much and look this polished.
Yeah.
But yes, Wanda, it is more like one-man banding. If you're familiar with the whole one-man band thing where you do everything, that's what it feels like. And some people have been great. If you book good people who talk a lot, that buys you time to switch in and out. Because what I found falls to the wayside are those comments that are coming through Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Like either you're really good at getting them on, or you miss them all together because you're too busy trying to like wrangle your guest and put their names up when they're talking. But I love the comments from Facebook when they work.
Yeah. Oh, make sure when you have your guest on that they give you the video look you're going for. And what I mean is, if like, for instance, we're all horizontal. If one of us was vertical, it would look a little off. So make sure. Oh no, what it'll do is it'll just put the black in the middle. It'll put it'll still be vertical, but they'll be in the middle with the black.
The two bars on the sides.
Yeah. So if you like me and you don't really want that, tell your guests, hey, go horizontal, turn your phone sideways, and just make sure you tell them to look at the lens and not themselves. Because I know a lot of people, you look at and they looking like this. Yeah, such and such, such and such. You're like, no, look at the lens.
Right there. Yeah, like go toward the light. There's normally a light on some of these computers. Also try to get them to frame themselves up better too. I mean, it depends on how you want your product to look and also where their audio can be heard. Because let's say that like Kendrick didn't have like a cool mic, right? So seeing how far he is from his actual computer camera situation, those people, we probably wouldn't hear them. They don't have like the cool DJ setup and everything. What is that? Can you add lower thirds to StreamYard? Can you add lower thirds after in StreamYard?
Yeah, like during the show?
No, after. Like after you've recorded it, can you go back and pretty much play, like use it like an editor? Yeah,
so you can't edit in StreamYard. You can't so for instance, right? I'm going to leave StreamYard and go to the homepage. Okay. So I can't go into, so these are stuff that was already, past broadcasts. So past broadcasts are stuff that's already been recorded, but I can't go in. I can enter the studio, but right here, you'll see where I can download it. And I think they give you about 10 days, but let's see, if I enter the studio, I can't go back and edit the show.
Okay, I think that's what she's looking for.
Yeah.
So some cheap options are, if you have a Mac, I think they all come with iMovie. So you can easily add lower thirds there. If you already are an editor and you have Premiere Pro, Final Cut, Adobe Premiere or Final Cut Pro, then of course you can add lower thirds there. And essentially what we're trying to get y'all on StreamYard or stuff like that for is because you minimize the need to go back and put lower thirds on. You can put them on while you're live.
And this right here, so this is a previous show I did, and you can see where it said ended. But these are like some of the comments. So Mark Gonald said Lakers in 6. Anthony Adebayo, that's Bam's brother, said, what up, gang? So these are, but if we were live, this is where I would, just add this to the show. I just simply click that, it'll come up there. So it's cool that you can, if you see something that, there's trolls on the internet, you don't have to add it. You're not obligated to add it at all. And then let's see, the private chat. Oh, they cleared it out. But yeah, so they keep all this up. I think it's about, well, the finals has it been 10 days? And I thought it was 10 days, but maybe it's 2 weeks where they'll keep all of this up and available. So yeah. And then I've done a couple of test things. So
Cool. Well, in our last 15 minutes or so, let's open it up to the floor. I've been really good at trying to usher in their questions, but sometimes it helps to hear directly from people. Let's see. Kiara, I think, has a question. Kiara Watson, you want to just go ahead and ask it yourself, huh?
Sure. So I've been watching some shows that I know are recorded on StreamYard, and they're like reaction shows. So can you make the video play without muting yourself? Because they're putting the video smaller on the screen and watching it, and they might be laughing at it or just like commenting on it as the video plays with sound, and you can hear them as well.
Well, let me try and see, because I think you gotta manually unmute yourself. But let's go back into the studio.
Does it help if you play the audio a little bit lower too? But I guess you want people to hear and also hear you guys talk about it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but you will probably have to you would probably have to edit it and make the audio lower. So, oh yeah, brand. So let's see. All right, so it looked like I unmuted myself. So can you hear me in StreamYard, Nikki?
I hear you in StreamYard because I'm getting echo.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess it works, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, to answer your question, you would have
What just happened here? What was that?
Oh, so during the promo, the idea was us to laugh at WWE's creative process, and then he just decided to throw he took our creative process sheet and knocked it out of my hand.
I understand. Okay. I was like, what did I just, sorry. Yeah.
Remember, we created the show because we wanted to be silly wrestling fans and produce, we created while in college so that we could work on our craft.
Understood. You want to go ahead and mute yourself in StreamYard again?
She's like, my daggone ears.
I can't do this.
But yeah, so to answer your question, you can do voiceover reactions. Now, you can go on YouTube. Let's see if you can share the audio. Because I know you can share your YouTube videos, but I'm gonna see if you can share, like if you wanted to share, like do a reaction to a YouTube video and turn the audio down, if that makes any sense. Any other questions while I'm trying and my computer drags?
Well, I think we've been keeping up with them pretty well. You guys have been a great group, by the way, and your questions have been amazing. But I think we're up to date. I tried to grab them all.
Oh, okay.
You are getting all the commercials today.
Well, I actually just used this song in my show. So I'm gonna turn the audio down. I didn't share my audio with Zoom. So now we'll share screen. Some screens let you share audio. Look for the okay. Oh yeah, so you can share your audio.
That's not bad.
All right, so
we can talk over that, yeah.
So it goes with the adjustment on what I'm playing with in YouTube.
It works, I think, for StreamYard, because I mean, I could hear you. No, actually, I can hear myself. Sorry.
So like, I'm to turn it up. They get louder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, unmute myself over here. See what happens. All right. So yeah.
Okay.
A lot of it's trial and error, guys. I mean, you got to play around with it for a while. Find a friend that's willing to sit with you on StreamYard for a couple minutes and test out things like we're doing now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's real easy to use too. Like, like I said, using OBS and, OBS is similar to like the TriCaster we was using at church.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very intimidating. Like, it really took me probably, I would say, a good 3 months to really understand OBS, where StreamYard probably took me a few days. I was like, oh, everything's already there. So
how did you do the test? And what about Restream? My suggestion is in the middle of the night when no one's paying attention. It happens all the time. You'll see your faves get on like at 3 a.m. and you're like, what are they doing? And they're testing out, like, how do I broadcast to multiple platforms? And how does it look as well?
And honestly, if you Restream, if I'm not mistaken, you have to pay for multiple platforms. With StreamYard, you're already paying for it. So you probably wouldn't even need to even deal with Restream.
Cool. Questions, guys? We got 10 more minutes before we wrap this up. And Brian, you have been amazing with this.
No, thank you.
I'm glad you followed up with StreamYard, just because I kind of feel like the initial reaction to the pandemic and the quarantine and that we can't have our live events was to have the broadcast quality online. And, to share like what I've been experiencing with my clients is that people have wanted me to do everything from happy hours to parties to full-on galas and things. And I'm like, I had to tell some folks I cannot do these things. I don't own TriCaster and I'm not about to learn it. And I'm sure it costs a couple $1,000s that I don't have. Like, I'm just not about to spend. Like, I haven't even spent money on a professional Zoom account. If people want this, they give me their professional Zoom account. I'm not spending money on things that I don't need. And I don't want you all to go out there and buy things that you don't need either.
Exactly.
But StreamYard, even with the little quack ducky in the corner, still will allow you to like broadcast that sucker. It may be cheesy, but it allows you to do what you want to do. You have,
and I think you do get a trial. I believe you get like a trial. So not sure if you could take that off during the trial, but it's worth a try.
But you can always throw your logo and post on top of that. I think Wanda Williams, do you have a question, hon? You want to come on?
Yeah, I do. I can you hear me?
Yes,
sure,
loud and clear.
Oh, great. I was wondering if you're familiar with any other institutions that have been using this. Like, I work for the government, and I'm president of a cultural historical organization, and we showed documentaries and films, and that was to employees. So I guess I'm wondering if government institutions are using this platform, because I'm curious to know if this is something we might be able to use. We use Google as our, that's how we do our video conferencing, using Google. And we don't use Zoom because of some security issues, but we can go into Zoom. I think when you go in through the browser, so we're able to do that, but we can't like have Zoom accounts.
Oh, okay.
Through the agency. So I'm just wondering, are you familiar with institutions using this, sort of using this service?
Not really, to be honest with you. I haven't seen, many videos from an institution or I haven't seen any video from an institution where I automatically could look at it and say, oh, they're using StreamYard. So unfortunately, no, I don't know.
Are you trying to host like a watch party for your institution, you think?
Yeah, that's what we used to actually do prior to COVID. We would book the lecture room and we would show a film, particularly projects and films that have used National Archives documents. And so we're just of not doing anything right now. We've only had one meeting since we've been out, but we're trying to figure out how to, remain vital and to continue during COVID.
Yeah, I know you said they don't like to use Zoom. Is there any chance that they're using like the federal, like there's like a federal grade of Zoom that's been used a lot in agencies? Because that's what mine is using. And they do roll videos to kind of explain things during those Zoom meetings.
Right.
Frankly, any video conferencing app that your team is using, like let's say that your group wants to use Microsoft Teams or something, what you essentially would do is share your screen and play from there. So whatever is the secure, your agency is okay with it. All of these video conferencing apps, when it comes to Zoom, Google Hangouts, Facebook Rooms, they all kind of act the same. It just comes down to what is your agency comfortable with.
Right.
Yeah. And when you do that, by the way, the same way I had my earbuds in, whoever is the one that is sharing the screen cannot have their earbuds in. That's something real quick that folks keep forgetting. And then they're like, why can't anybody hear it? And why do I hear it? And everyone else. It's a simple fix, but I feel embarrassed for folks when they don't realize it's because you got your earbuds in and you're projecting from your laptop. So your laptop is essentially like the, yeah,
like the audio.
It's everything. It's the video, the audio. You can't pull up any emails. You can't do nothing. Your computer is locked to show everybody the demonstration that the video
that
you want to share. Yep. Okay. Same way people used to bootleg on Facebook all the time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is amazing. I think this is very impressive. Thanks for putting this on. This is great.
Thank you for coming through. We got Vanya in here. Uh-oh. Thank you, Miss Ruth Branch. She knows all the video fun.
Hey, everyone.
I got a quick question.
Who's that?
Jackie Jones.
Hello, Professor Jones.
My birthday twin.
Yeah, that's right. So for something like Dr. K does live streams her show on Facebook. We're doing something special. Does this help us kind of bump it up a little bit? We're working on a project. I want to have her show, do some piece of it, but I just wanted to look a little fancier. Does StreamYard help us improve that? Is it easy to put those two together? And if you've already answered this earlier, I apologize because I came in a little late.
No, I think it does if you add like cool, if you on the branding part where you could put your logo, if you add something cool there or, add a cool logo, you could do that. I'm assuming you're just talking about comparing using a cell phone or using Zoom.
Yeah, because, like if you have a panel, you've got a couple of people you want to interview, and I just wanted to look, because sometimes it looks like she's so far away from everybody, it's kind of like.
Yeah, her framing has never been amazing.
And so we've got a project coming up, and I wanted to look a little sharper, so I was trying to figure out if this would help us accomplish that.
You could do this or you can do Zoom. This is nice for a live presence with the lower thirds, real glossy. So it's like every astute person that you have on there, they're identified right there. The other thing is, because I like to tune into Dr. K on Facebook, but here's the problem is that I can only hear her. I can't hear people call into her show, and I can hardly hear her guests sometimes because it's pretty much essentially her cell phone is looking at her this here. So I think that this might help because with this, the same way that Brian invited me and Kendrick in, you can invite your 4 or 5, how many experts in, and you can identify them at the same time. And that probably would be better engagement on Facebook, because if you push it to her Facebook account, which people know to come to watch her show, then as they're chiming in, those comments will start popping up if you have somebody pop them up on the screen. I do think that would be a better product than, I've been meaning to kind of reach out to her and tell her that I like looking at you, but I can't hear anybody else.
All right. Well, I'll get with you guys offline because it's coming up soon. So I want to make sure that we're good to go when we do it.
As we wrap up, any other questions, concerns? Brian has been a great resource. Yes, darling.
Because I came on late too. I apologize. Again, we go from one virtual something to another all day long. But can you just, if you already explained it, how do you take this and push it to your Facebook? Yeah, how do you share it out to your other platforms?
Brian, you want to show?
All right. So when you sign up, they have the destinations, and you just add your destination. So right here, I got my wrestling Facebook page, my wrestling YouTube page, my church Facebook page, and my talk show Facebook page. So you just add you add the locations on here. I mean the destinations, and then when you broadcast, if we're gonna create a broadcast right here, ask you, do you want to broadcast? You just choose which one of those pages you would like to broadcast to, or you can just skip and record only. So if you want to be live, you choose that. You give it a title. If you want, you could do up to 3. Testing, and then right here you can customize for each destination. With Twitter, you want to use @ signs. Facebook, I don't think you can tag from here. Yeah, you can't tag from here. You have to do that later. But you can still, like, for Periscope, which is owned by Twitter, I may say Brian H. Waters is testing Hustling Realm, and then I create broadcasts. Now you'll enter the studio, but you don't go live until you click the live button. So I just don't want to I don't want to confuse anybody and say, oh, wait, I'm live already. But once you hit this button right here, go live, then you're live. And then there'll be a time stamp in the corner that'll let you know, like a timestamp right here, that'll let you know how long you've been on the air, so you can just kind of have an idea.
Periscope, Maria, is being used a lot on Twitter. So like whenever you see someone's going live and it just seems to be like seamless, it's typically a Periscope feed. Mm-hmm. They just tend to work in tandem. And Maria had a question for you about, can you broadcast to more than one Facebook page at a time? Like, let's say you want to do your church and your wrestling realm at the same time or something.
Let's see. I think you can remove. Yep. You can broadcast from more than one.
Nice. Okie doke.